Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now, from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. In the past, it seems like for the last 5 or 6 years, we've always had a show with the Weymouth Center, the Weymouth Center for the Arts and Humanities. I think last year, Dorothy, about this time, Katie Wyatt came on, yes, and we talked about all the events going on at the Weymouth Center from here right through New Year's.
Yeah.
And every year the demographics seem to change and we keep getting new people in town. So we want to give a little bit of background about the Weymouth Center, which, where I've lived for 25 years, is right in that corner of Weymouth. And it's always been a very iconic building and a center of a tremendous amount of community activity. Back in 1977, Sam Reagan, who was North Carolina Poet Laureate, and he was the publisher of The Pilot, he, along with Paul Green, Elizabeth Ives, and others, organized a group of colleagues to preserve and protect the Boyd's legacy. The home was built in 1920 by James Boyd, and the Boyd House and its beautiful surroundings have been preserved, and it was chartered as a nonprofit corporation. It purchased the home and the grounds in 1979, and it established what has become the cultural center of Moore County. The Weymouth Center for the Arts and Humanities opened their doors in July of '79. And isn't it interesting? The first time I ever came to Moore County was July of 1979 on a golf trip. And it was my first introduction, and I've lived here now for 25 years. And I was 4 years out of college at the time, and I didn't know Weymouth from a hole in the head or a hole in the ground. The Boyd House has served as a writer's residency for over 40 years, and it's the site for meetings of the North Carolina Poetry Society, literary readings, dramatic performances, musical concerts, and recitals. More than that, in the last 5 to 10 years, I would say the Weymouth Center has opened their arms to the community in a way whereby they are, it's not a private club like some people think as they drive by. It's a beautiful but sometimes intimidating building to people who don't know, but it's open to the public. And we're going to talk a lot about many of the events that are going to be going on there. And the mission of the Weymouth Center for the Arts and Humanities is to provide a place of inclusivity by offering literary and cultural experiences that both inspire and enrich the lives of our community. We're being joined today by 3 guests. Danny Herbst is the Director of Membership and the Visitor Experience at Weymouth, and she's going to be talking in detail about some of the committees, the purposes, membership, donors, and give you a good overall view about the community of Weymouth. Joyce Paluski, who is sitting to my left, she is the chair of the Women of Weymouth, and she sits on the Friends of Weymouth board. She's going to be speaking about a lot of the activities coming up and to talk a little bit more in depth about the Women of Weymouth. Mary Hilgenberg, who was with us a few weeks ago. By the way, Mary, I should ask you, how did everything go with your events just a week or so ago?
Wonderful.
Yes?
It always does really well.
We're talking about Autumn Fest.
Yep.
We're talking about
Holly
the
Fair. Yep.
Holly
and the
Fair.
Bake sale.
Bake sale.
And our raffle was wonderful.
Was it?
And at this moment, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who donated gift cards. It was so helpful.
Well, you're also, you're on the Women of Weymouth. You're a member, and you're chairing the decorating of the house for Weymouth Wonderland, which is coming up, I guess, in the month of December.
Correct.
Okay. Danny, I just want to welcome you. You are You've been with the Weymouth Center for about a year and a half?
A little over a year.
How did you get here?
I'm a military spouse.
Okay.
So when we moved here, my career has been in museums and nonprofits and libraries. And so I was looking for a place that fit my career, and I called. I had sent my resume, and there weren't any availabilities at the time. And then I called, I followed up again, and Katie was like, "Can you come in today for an interview?" And everything then just kind of worked out. It worked the way it was supposed to and the timing that it was supposed to. So,
where did you come from?
Annapolis, Maryland.
Okay. So you went from a more urban area, arguably, to a community that is got Norman Rockwell written all over it. And then you see the Weymouth Center. Tell me about your first impressions about it and the community. And I know it probably blew you away that a community so small can have something so enriching.
Definitely. I've worked in lots of bigger cities at bigger museums, and so this has been really nice to get to know the people who come every day, the members, the board members, all of our donors who support us financially and with their time by volunteering. So it's been really great to build those relationships, and I can see what a special place Weymouth is. And one of the things that we all kind of talk about is like Weymouth comes into your life at the right time, and it supports you. It like is there for you at the right time when you need it, and that is the truth for me.
During the 12-month year, there are so many events at Weymouth. It's mind-boggling what is available to the public. Many days, many Sundays, I can hear music emanating from the outdoors. There are all different sorts of jazz ensembles, weddings, but there's always music. And
I think that is a nice nod to James and Katharine Boyd, who brought all of their friends, writers, and musicians and artists to Weymouth, to their house, the Boyd House, and it was a place of arts and humanities, of culture, and that legacy has continued on today. And it's nice to know that people in the community are able to experience what the Boyds set in place.
There's been a transition of sorts going on at the Weymouth Center over the last couple of years, where they are really truly opening up their arms to the community in a way that maybe 10 or 15 years ago they did not. It's a transition of inclusivity, where you're reaching out to all different types of people in the community that maybe hadn't happened before. So you're here at a good transitional period.
Absolutely. I think it's a beautiful testament to our volunteers and our staff that we have made this very large effort to make sure that everyone feels welcome. And I think this is something that a lot of museums are doing and cultural centers are doing as well, is the arts aren't we don't need to gatekeep the arts and the humanities. It's for everyone. And so Weymouth is really doing an amazing job of partnering with local other nonprofits and local businesses to really spread our mission of being a welcome place for all.
I want to switch over to Joyce Paluski, who is sitting to my left. Joyce, you moved here from Pittsburgh, and I'm going to say 14 years ago. How did you first get involved with the Weymouth Center? You live in Pinehurst, and yet somehow through the years you are now in a position where you're actively involved. What was your first impression of Weymouth, and how did that whole involvement transpire?
Well, the very first time that I entered the doors of Weymouth was at Christmas House, probably about 9 years ago.
Right.
And eventually got involved and met some of the women of Weymouth and became involved.
Right.
And really involved.
Really involved.
And so enjoyed it. I mean, once you walk through that house, it just grabs you.
Right.
You know, it just brings you back, and you want to get involved.
Right.
And
we have had, there's been so many events going on. Just in May, I was mentioning before we started to tape, my goddaughter, who lives in Atlanta, she decided to, and she grew up in Pinehurst as a child. They moved back when she was in 8th grade. But she came back, and they had their rehearsal dinner on the 3rd of May. It was a Friday evening, outdoors, and it was the first muggy evening of the year, and it was magnificent. The service, the setting, and the people who were here were from Michigan, from Georgia, from Florida, and they just were blown away by the setting. It was storybook, actually. But you're here to talk today about a ton of events coming up between now and the end of the year, because we're now in the season where a lot of people get their first glimpse of Weymouth at the holidays, and then all of a sudden they become more actively involved because they didn't even realize what it offers.
well, the Women of Weymouth hosts several events through the year, and we start off with the Weymouth Wonderland holiday event that's coming up on December 6th with candlelight and cocktails, and December 7th and 8th for Wonderfest and Market. And then we follow into the spring. We do in May, our annual meeting, or our final meeting of the year, the Women of Weymouth year, is in May, and we do a Strawberry Garden Fest. And then this year, in June, on June 5th, we're going to handle our Ladies' Wine Out for the year. But our first event's coming up in December with candlelight and cocktails, and that'll be held on Friday evening from 5:30 to 8 p.m. And Karen Eischen is our chair for that event. And it's a nice evening. There's hors d'oeuvres that'll be provided by Masons, and the desserts will be by layered cakes.
Yep.
And it's a nice event, and we have a pianist comes, and we sing carols, and it's a nice event. And I think we can only handle 120 people. And then on
Before you even move to that, I noticed that the Candlelight and Carols event is sponsored by Hubbard Dental.
That's correct.
And they have been here, the Hubbard family, about 3.5, 4 years. And Jordan has made great inroads in a very short period of time. She and her father were on the show a couple of months ago talking about their dental practice. And I think she's part of the Junior League. And she's getting involved with Weymouth as well. And she's a younger demographic, which is what is a great thing for Weymouth. So they're going to be doing the event on December the 6th. Then December the 7th and the 8th, the Wonderfest and Market.
And that'll be held from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Right.
And the chair is Danny.
Okay.
And myself.
Okay.
And it's exciting. We open it up to the communities, and everyone comes, and it's an enjoyable event. And then we get into our list of chairs. And our decorating committee is Mary Hilgeberg. So I'm going to turn it over to her right now.
Okay. I noticed for the Wonderfest and Market, First Bank, and
correct.
Brooks and Grace Rentals are sponsoring. I have a feeling Andrew Lyons had something to do with that.
He definitely did.
He definitely does.
Is he not? He's a board member.
He's the president of our board.
There
yes.
you go.
Yeah.
Andrew,
We greatly appreciate his personal support and First Bank support.
Yeah. Before we switch, Mary, to you, we're going to come back in the second set, and we'll talk about some of the additional events and things that you have on your plate, and just to talk about some of the logistics of Weymouth, what people who have not been familiar with it, we want to make sure by the end of the show they are ready to come over and discover Weymouth like we want so many other people to do. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our second set of All Things Moore County. We're speaking this hour all about the Weymouth Center for the Arts and Humanities, upcoming events in the holiday season, and to talk about the gift that the Weymouth Center is to the community. And we're going to get into some membership specifics and fundraising later in the show. But the Weymouth Wonderland event that you're doing on December the 7th and 8th is a donation-based event where people come in, and for many people it's the first time they've gotten a chance to see it, and the kids especially, the children, with the parents, to see it all set up for the Christmas season. So you ask at the door, Danny, for donations and anything that people want to give.
Any monetary donation is accepted and provides entry into the event. We have vendors set up. We have a bake shop set up. All of the bake sale items are donated by volunteers. We have a holiday shop, which is used holiday items that are on sale at a very discounted price.
Right.
And then we have kids' activities and Santa, and I think personally the highlight of it is going through the house and walking through the house with the docents, the tour guides who are there to tell you about the history of the house, to tell you about the Boyd family, to show you the new exhibits that we just put up. Two of them. One is the Better Than You Found It, the legacy of James and Katharine Boyd. So that one talks about their impact on Moore County. And the other is The Carpenters, a Weymouth family, all about an African-American family who worked at the Boyd House at Weymouth Center. And they also lived there. And so there it talks about their life and their impact on Moore County. So that will be included in your tour, as well as seeing the house all decorated for the holidays. And Mary will talk about each room and how the garden clubs and different organizations really come together to make it such a beautiful event.
Yeah. Mary, the floor is yours.
Well, what can I say? Weymouth Wonderland is something to see. Every year it's different. It's an annual event. And this year, in the past, we've had all kinds of different decorations and don't always have a specific theme. But this year we went with a specific theme, and why not something about books? So we chose Children's Stories, A Season of Stories, which is an excellent title. And we are having all the designers and decorators do something that has to do with a December holiday children's story. So to give you an example, we have The Legend of the Candy Cane, The Snowy Day, The Christmas Owl, The Polar Express, Nutcrackers. I mean, you will see all of these different stories decorated on mantles and in the rooms and on windows and wherever they can decorate. So we have designers, we have garden people, we have our dirt gardeners helping us, we have just women of Weymouth helping us, we have florists helping us, we have garden clubs helping us, we have individuals helping us. It's a real village experience. And when I first started doing this, I reached out to about 35 different organizations, and there were very few no's.
Is that right?
Yeah, very few. Everyone loves doing this, and it's not that hard, and it just puts you in the right spirit for the holiday. And one twist this year that I really need to speak about is one of the rooms we're going to decorate is the Great Room, and that theme is going to be about the gingerbread boy or man. So we're going to have a little twist this year, and I'm looking for people, individuals, professional bakers, just home bakers, anyone who wants to make a gingerbread something, a house or a cake or something that is gingerbread, to donate to us for the weekend of December 7th and 8th. We will have some prizes and we will judge these items. And then on Sunday the 8th, we will auction them off. And we've never really done that with this event. We've done it with our Strawberry Festival. But this is a new little twist. So I'm hoping someone interested will contact us and say, yes, I love to bake and let me do something. So if you go on the website, I'm sure you'll find the information of how to contact myself or Danny or Joyce. Please call us soon.
Yeah,
Danny?
the website is weymouthcenter.org, and
Right.
all the money goes towards keeping up the house and all that entails.
So do people understand that the Weymouth Center is run by private donations? It is not, it's important because it's a very expensive undertaking. The building is 104?
102.
102?
102 years old.
1920?
1922.
1922, okay. I said 1920. Not easy to keep up.
No, 100-year-old bathrooms are expensive.
Yep.
All of our grounds are taken care of by one employee and
It's
a
crazy.
load of dozens of dirt gardeners, volunteer dirt gardeners who come 2, 3, 4. Some of them come every day of the week, sometimes of the year, to make sure that it is a beautiful place so that we can be open for people to walk through from dawn till dusk. Any day that we don't have a wedding or a rehearsal dinner,
Right.
Anytime we don't have an event.
I have two sisters who live on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. My younger sister comes down to visit, and she always gravitates over to the grounds to walk them. It reminds her of, it's almost like the Biltmore house had a baby. It's a beautiful, and for her it's like Central Park, but with all the trees and none of the noise. They're exquisite grounds, and they're open to the public. People can go on the weekends if they want to just have pictures. How many different events have used the Weymouth Center for photographs over the years?
So many. So many
Family photos.
photo shoots. We've seen
Prom pictures.
Yeah.
Great prom
Graduation.
pictures, graduations, cute little baby photos. Businesses will sometimes take their headshots there.
Yep.
People record commercials or their own personal advertisements in the house. We do a lot, and obviously a lot of wedding photos.
One thing I think people may not realize is that the Weymouth Center is also available for rent for functions, other than weddings or musical events or literary events. A business could come over and they could speak to you about conducting a meeting there with a lunch or breakfast. I don't know that everyone knows that. I think there's that intimidation factor, but you're trying very hard to alleviate that.
Absolutely. We're actually closed today because we have 2 rentals in the building. We've had military groups in. We've had the pilot comes in once a year and uses the space. We have garden clubs who meet there regularly. We offer yoga on the weekends and just so many different rentals and community rental spaces. And I think that's it gives the community some ownership of the building. I think that it's a place that everyone feels a connection to.
Right. Joyce, I wanted to get back to you because all the committees that you have, it's sort of like the engine that runs the Weymouth Center quietly. But these are all volunteers.
That's correct.
The list it takes up a full page of all the different events, if you want to just cover some of those.
Okay, we have our house tour, which I think there's 48 docents for those 2 days, and Meg Finnan is our chair for that, and she's already got quite a few. So if anybody would like to be a docent, contact Weymouth, and we'll put you in touch with Meg Finnan. We also have our Christmas shop, as Danny has spoken about, and our chairs are Kathy Camberling and Nancy Mack. And if there's any people out there that would like to donate items to our Christmas shop, they can contact Kathy and Nancy. Through these donations, they are pure, 100% goes back to the house. And our bake shop is Barbara Keating, Pat Keffer, and Mary Summers. So if anybody would like to bake and donate, we'd appreciate that as well. our entertainment is Pat Sikora and Michelle Gowan. And some of the entertainment lined up is Gabby Bruin, who you've had on your show.
Yes.
She will be entertaining. And Nick Epstein, who's from the Imaginator Theater. And I'm sure you've had him on, or his mother, Julie.
And you're referring to Gabby Brunson.
Brunson, I'm sorry.
Very talented
Yes.
young lady.
Yes, very.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And sophisticated ladies.
Yep.
And let's see who else. Some of the other. Oh, we have the Carolina Junior Philharmonic. They perform among many, many more.
Right.
And our vendors, we're trying to get 50 vendors for that weekend. And Mary Ellen Saladin and Kathy Taylor are handling that. Food trucks. We'll have food trucks there for the 2 days. And
Yep.
Carol Westerly's doing that. And this year we're adding a children's story time. And Myra Renauld is the chair of that. And we have logistics is Ellie Morgan. And she's going to be in the back, make sure everything is handled well.
Yes.
In our donation table, we're going to have one in the front and in the back where they're parking. And that will be chaired by our staff.
Weymouth Center has so many moving parts. It's crazy. And you look at that beautiful building from Connecticut, and it just seems so peaceful and serene. But behind the walls, there's a lot of motion, a lot of things going on. Let's come back in the third set. We're talking all about the Weymouth Center for the Arts and Humanities. This is All Things Moore County. Welcome back to our third set of All Things Moore County, talking all about the Weymouth Center for the Arts and Humanities. We're joined by Joyce Paluski, who is the chair of the Women of Weymouth, Danny Herbst, who is the director of membership, and Mary Hilgenberg, who is an active woman of Weymouth and is involved in some of the upcoming December events. Danny, from where you came from with your experience with museums, and make an argument that the Weymouth Center is a bit of a museum of its own, but that's just highly functioning.
Yes, well, we're open to the public Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, for people to come and walk through the house. We have a self-guided tour available. We can offer tours to groups that want to come and walk through the house together, or school students. But we just, as I mentioned, we put up new exhibits so that it's even more accessible for people who, as an old building, we have a lot of stairs, and
Yep.
it can be challenging for everyone to go upstairs and to see all the spaces. So we've put these exhibits in to kind of help tell the story on the first floor, so that everyone can learn more about the Boyds and about Weymouth and what we do.
Is the Christmas season the season where you get the younger families with the children coming through that maybe had not known about the Weymouth Center or what it offers? Is that the hallmark? Is that the highlight of the year in terms of new exposure?
I think that is our biggest and longest running family program,
Right.
from my knowledge. But we have really started to expand our family programming. We had a Spring Into Reading event where kids came and listened to stories and got free books, and we had storybook characters dressed up. We just recently had a concert, bilingual performance of Pepito and the Trash Cans, and so it was English and Spanish and about recycling and how you make an instrument out of used goods. And then we've also did a drive-in movie this summer and a peachgrass, like a bluegrass festival. So we've been doing more and more youth programming, which is fantastic to see. I think everybody loves seeing and hearing the kids on the grounds. And I think that's something, that's one of the reasons Katharine donated land to the state to establish Weymouth Woods, was so that the woods would be there the way that they were when her son was young. Yeah. She donated after he passed away and wanted it to be preserved in this way where kids could enjoy nature and it not be commercialized or be residential. And it's not even for camping. It's just for exploration and hiking and even horseback riding. So
Yeah, talk a little bit about the Weymouth Equestrian Program.
So Weymouth Equestrians is still a fairly new program where we partner with mostly our first big partners were the Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
And it is a free riding equestrian program that teaches students how to ride and care for horses without the barriers of the cost of equestrian life, of that sport. And so at Weymouth, we have 5 horses, maybe 6 now.
Yeah.
That are cared for by our program manager, Anna Kaiser, and our other members of our staff and the students. They come, they help give baths, they ride the horses, they brush them, they feed them. Mm-hmm. We even have 2 barn cats that get a lot of love. So it's a really incredible program, and it has continued to grow, and we've partnered with other organizations throughout the year for that.
It's a beautiful facility. And there's been a lot of money put into it to refurbish what was there before, and it is, it's a showcase. But when we were all in college, they never taught a course that I remember. I went to college in Pennsylvania, in the Lehigh Valley. There was never a course called Fundraising 101, how you think outside the box, how you reach out to people in creative ways to raise funds, because the Weymouth Center requires, the expenses are high, and to keep the building pristine and running very well. We're always looking for ways to get new members, and as you have like some donation events where you don't put a price tag on the event, but you just ask people to whatever donation they'll make. So that's an ongoing process.
Ongoing. Membership is $50 for an individual, $75 for a household, and it is discounted for teachers, first responders, military, and students. And that gives discounts for all of our concerts that you mentioned earlier, the Come Sunday concert, the chamber sessions, some of our fundraisers too, like our Candlelight and Carols event has a discounted price for our members. And I think that it's a nice benefit for our members. And that money all goes towards the upkeep of the house and helping to keep the lights on so that it is open and available for people to come and enjoy and bring their visitors. The holidays are coming up. If it's a nasty day or it's a nice day, come inside. If you are looking for something to do to get people out of the house, go for a walk outside. If you're wanting to get some energy out after you've had a lot of sweets, like I will.
I heard you say the membership is $50.
Yes.
And it offers you discounts on upcoming events.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't pay the $50, you could still attend the events, but you'd be paying full price.
Correct.
The savings would more than make up for the membership fee.
They absolutely do, because it's about, if you came to all the Come Sundays, it's $10 off per concert, per performance. So it definitely adds up, and part of it is tax deductible. So we like to promote that, we'll take the money and we'll give you a little break you'll get a little break on your taxes.
The wedding season also is a great opportunity for people. Starting in February or January, the brides and grooms are out interviewing, and there's a lot of competition, but there's nothing as beautiful as the setting that is the Weymouth Center. And that's what drew Laura and Will. It was a no-brainer for them. Boom, they wanted, and they were able to get a date that they needed, and they were just so happy. It was a gorgeous event. So that kicks in right after the holidays, right? You pivot and you go right into the bridal season.
Yes, so we have over 100 events a year between rentals and fundraisers and programs.
It's every third day.
Every third day, basically. And that's great, because it's wonderful to see so many people enjoying the space.
Right.
And it's just it is a beautiful place. It's a special place here in Moore County, and we hope that everyone gets to experience and really appreciate its beauty.
Yeah. Joyce, since you first saw the Weymouth Center, you said 9 years ago?
Yes.
My guess is that you have created a social network that didn't exist from 9 years ago to today. A whole different world opened up.
I've met so many wonderful ladies,
Right.
and have made so many friendships,
Right.
Through the years.
Right.
And it's just a
Right.
great community to meet people and to enjoy.
And the Weymouth Center is for all of Moore County and all of North Carolina. It's not just for Southern Pines.
That's correct.
It just happens to be located in Southern Pines. So going forward into 2025, the planning of new events, the planning of things that, are there new wrinkles, or are there new things that will be happening next year?
Next year. Well, we are hosting this year, actually. It's
Yep.
shortly after this podcast. We're hosting Strike at the Wind, a performance put on by UNC Pembroke. And this is the first time it's performed outside of that county. So that will be a really big event. It's on November 17th. And then next year, we just, we continue to do more and more events and programs and continue improving the programs that we have, because they are special programs and we want to reach as many people as possible.
How have you, with the large military population here, how has that outreach been going?
We've had several rentals with the military community. It's nice for them to be able to get off the
Right.
base and to come somewhere that's a little more secluded and away from that military mindset. And they host meetings and trainings there, like leadership type trainings. And as a military spouse, I personally am telling all my friends, come to Weymouth. We have discounted memberships. We have
Right.
free programming. And it seems to be, the word is spreading among that community.
I hope that you get a lot of new faces in the next 6 to 8 weeks with the events at Christmas, and a lot of young children, because I think there's a wonderment about the setting that kids just it's jaw dropping. And I want to wish you all the very best with the events coming up. And I appreciate you coming in. If people want to get in touch directly with the Weymouth Center, they can go to the website,
WeymouthCenter.org.
which is a very intuitive website.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good website. But they can also call.
You can call. The phone number is 910-692-6261, and we're open 10 to 4 Monday through Friday to answer phone calls and emails.
Right now, circle your calendar for December 6th, December 7th, and December 8th. The candlelight and carols on December the 6th at 5:30, and the Wonderfest and Market from 10 to 5 on the weekend, December 7th and 8th. Two very big events coming up, and we hope people get to know the Weymouth Center like we do.
And we're also open for rentals with the holiday decorations up. So if someone's looking for a place for a holiday gathering or a business party, holiday party, please give us a call, and we would love to host that event with you.
And you have catering services that you offer?
We do not offer catering, but we have several caterers around town that we have worked with many times in the past.
Okay. Joyce?
We'll also be in the parade. On Saturday is the annual Southern
Christmas.
Pines Christmas Parade, and Weymouth will be marching in that, and we hope that everyone would come up to see
That's on December the 7th.
December the 7th. And everybody would follow up and
Yep.
visit Wonderland and Market.
And we appreciate the time. It's always good to talk about the Weymouth Center. It's one of the greatest gifts to Moore County that I've ever seen in the 25 years that I've been here. Say hello to Katie. Tell her to stay calm and focused, because she's a multitasker like nobody else. And it was a pleasure to meet you, Joyce. It was great to see you. And Mary, again, good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
We'll see you down the road, I'm sure. This is All Things Moore County. Have a great weekend. Thank you.